moving over to more stories, the African National Congress is proposing open contestation for leadership positions. This proposal will be coupled with an electoral commission that will vet people nominated for positions ahead of the elections. This move is aimed at ridding the electoral system of gatekeeping and manipulation. Well, joining us on the phone line is the ANC Treasurer General Zweli Mkhize. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on ANN 7. Now, what do you make of this open contestation for leadership positions within the African National Congress? Are you in acceptance of this move?
This issue has been raised and discussed to try and deal with some of the latest challenges that are coming through. On the first instance, I think it's a question of trying to avoid, unscrupulous lobbying and to avoid a situation where potential leaders have not been discussing their views and their commitment to the policies in an open forum. So it's, I think, a matter of discussion that we would like our members to indicate whether they're still comfortable or whether, in fact, a new approach is going to be, welcome, as it were.
Now, does this move actually empower the branches which actually had the powers of nominating people, or will this set to undermine them and their role that they are playing within the party?
No, it is not meant for that. It is meant just to create an open forum for discussion and for engagement, so that you will not have, one of the challenges with the lobbying is where no one is supposed to declare that they are standing as candidates, but then you've got lobbyists who will move around and undermine the power of the branch leadership or the branch members who should be able to openly declare their views and therefore indicate what their sense is, and they've got a sense of who the people are and what are the issues that have to be discussed. In the past few weeks, we have actually encouraged members of the organization to go out and discuss the principles of what you need in a leader, and then, of course, then look at the names. But it is also possible that in the processes of preparation for elections, people will go out and lobby and in the process distort the views or the sentiments of the members. So it's a method of trying to say, maybe that approach will help people to be open about issues, agree, disagree, and there must be no tension when people agree or disagree. And I think that is just a proposal to say there might be other ways of trying to resolve the challenges, the irregularities, the gatekeeping, the lobbying, the unscrupulousness that might be associated with the process.
And now perhaps just talk us through as to what actually led to the idea of the Electoral Commission being proposed in the first place, and how actually this will help in containing gatekeeping and lobbying, as you've just mentioned.
Well, part of the issues that have also arisen here have to do with the fact that in some of the areas there were complaints. I think if you looked at the nomination of councillors, candidate councillors, there would have been a lot of challenges where people have raised various disputes. And so to remove any local interest out of it, it might probably be helpful to have people from outside who have a specific interest in the integrity of the process and no one interested, because quite often the people who must preside, some of them are also supposed to be candidates in the same scheme. So you could have a member of the regional leadership who is also standing as a candidate somewhere along the line. So it's just to help to improve the integrity of the process. But at the same time, it's also important for certain criteria to be scrutinized so that you know that whoever is standing does not, offend on the principles that are needed to select the candidates. And it means that when we say there's a document that outlines the nature of the qualities or characteristics of the leadership, some structure must clean that up along ahead of time so that we can reduce the tensions and any possible manipulation, especially in the instances where we've been talking about gatekeeping and all those kinds of issues.
Now, with regard to alleviating factionalism, how do you think this will be determined that the body doesn't become a tool for forwarding factional interests within the party?
I think the thinking would then be that people who will be involved must be of the kind of stature that they should be beyond the reproach. It must also be people who don't have any immediate direct interest but are prepared to work to support and promote the goodwill of the party policies. And therefore, the approach, like you have had what we call integrity commission, you need people who can be there and look out for the interests of the party rather than being drawn into local factional issues. And it is possible if these are people who do not really have any special interest in the elections as being candidates or possible nominees. And so I suppose that, when it gets refined, it should be able to satisfy all those queries.
Well, with regards to now, just talk us through as to the processes of the constitution of this commission. How will it be decided?
Those matters will still need to be threshed out, and there would not at this point be the details. I think at the moment we want the principal agreement first, whether we would find such an approach being supported by the party, and then you can go into the details of how that matter can be dealt with as we have now to implement it.
Yes, so I hear you, but now do you think that this matter will have the right to overrule the recommendations of the branches itself?
No, it would not. It basically is to say what is the view of the branch, and therefore unadulterated and without any interference, such a committee would then preside and then take things as they are and make sure that they move up to the national leadership level without any kind of interference. For example, we've seen some of the protests have been linked to the interference that happens in the various stations where the processing has to go. So from the branch, staff goes with the deployee to the regional office, and then from regional office to provincial level. In the process of doing so, we've seen the contamination in the integrity of the process, where in between could be political leaders or could be staff members, in some instances have kind of interfered with the sanctity of the process. And so this kind of process is to solve the outcry that was there during the selection of candidates.
And now lastly, Mr. Mkhize, before I let you go now, how will the party ensure that the merit argument is not actually misused to undermine some popular leaders?
No, the issue is not so much about subverting the views of the branch. It's about making sure that they are not compromised, which means whatever the branch members would like to indicate as their preference, there should not be any processes in between that must change that. And so the college would then be looking at how to protect the interest of the members on the ground. Our biggest concern is about ensuring that the will of the people does not get interfered with by any other interested party in the chain going up to national level. So it would be to try and improve that whole problem that we've faced in the past.
Also, thank you so much for speaking to us right here on AN 7. ANC Treasurer General Zweli Mkhize speaking more on the open contestation by the African National Congress after the announcement of the policy documents by the party.
In the documents, because obviously we've not had